An avid New Yorker, flying for the first time to Texas, I felt my life begin anew as I watched the pristine green hills and valleys roll under the wings of the plane. And there it was, starting with the rodeo of my dreams.
You know, friends, there's a lot of ways that we pay tribute to our flag, but to each and every one of us, it still means one simple thing, and that is our freedom.
If you come out and drive down some of our roads, and you'll go a long ways without seeing a house, and so it's wide open spaces.
This country will promise you less and give you more than any country in the world.
Live anywhere in the United States and you cannot see the harmony and the music that you see in Canadian.
You ask me why I love it? I've a million reasons why. My beautiful America, beneath God's wide, wide sky.
Working on a ranch sometimes is hard. The work's physical, but I like it. I love the horses. I like being outside.
As far as I can see is my land, you know, and all the horses and cattle have all got my brand on them. So there's something about owning stuff that's, you know, it's the American dream, or it's everybody's dream.
Goes down, turns him around. Got this one going, and this could be a good one. Well, bumps him off out of there.
Everything you see when you visit us in Canadian today is completely dominated by our history and our location. And most especially, all of our traditions and our personality now come from the folks who lived in places like this in the 1800s, from the cowboys. Now, they weren't the first people who came here. They were just the first people that had the courage, or maybe just the plain old stubbornness, to stay. And they talked about this valley, this oasis of water and grass in the middle of this rough country of mesas and canyons and an endless sea of grass. First ones passing through were the Indians, who followed the buffaloes here. When the buffaloes came through in the fall and in the spring, the Indians would come through and hunt the buffalo. Well, they were followed by the buffalo hunters. It took them about 3 years to kill 5 million buffaloes in this part of the world. And they changed the culture here from a really rough and woolly existence of buffalo hunters, gamblers, railroad guys, just traveling on through to the beginnings of civilization.
You're able to do a lot more in an hour with a helicopter than you can do in 2 days, either with a vehicle or on horseback.
This is my grandfather, George Rader, and my grandmother, Susan Rader. My father purchased the land that we call our headquarters now in about 1918 or 19. We've gone through all of the trials of agriculture and ranching with drought and low prices and all of that, but we're stayers.
My dad's family immigrated here from Lebanon. They weren't being persecuted in Lebanon. They were just not wanting to herd goats on the side of some rocky hillside. And so we grew up with this challenge, this admonition that I can just hear my grandfather Abraham saying. He says, "To whom much is given, much is expected." like my children, are picking up on the same thing.
I can stay horseback for 2 or 3 days, or stay out, be out here for 2 or 3 days and not talk to anybody. Not that I don't like people. To me, the horses are a lot more enjoyable just because they've got such more of a personality to them. We still go horseback a lot, but when we've got so much country to cover, we can do it so fast with the helicopter and just me flying it. And that's what makes a helicopter such a good tool for us, and it's pretty fun too.
What we are demonstrating here is the working action of a cutting horse. Generally during the fall of the year, ranchers would need to cull certain cows from the herd. So they use their horses to go in and cut these particular cows out, push them away from the herd so that they could be taken to market or whatever. It's a strong heritage that we here in Texas are proud of. As you can see, we still consider the horse a very integral part of our operation here on this ranch.
With the railroad and the ranchers, a new breed of woman came to this new town of Canadian. They were still strong like their husbands that they came with, but they had an idea of a more genteel and refined community than the one they moved into that had 13 saloons and no churches. What they had in mind was a place where family entertainment would dominate. One of the characters who was left over from that wild and woolly time was Julius Bourne. Mr. Bourne came here as a teenager, hauling this camera with him. And he chronicled those wilder and woollier times when all of those soldiers and hunters and early cowboys and ladies of the night were still available. And today we have those studio pictures he took of those folks.
It takes a lot of time and effort and patience. And you just don't do it overnight. It takes a good year or two to get one the way you want him. And there's anything better to ride than a good using horse.
It's probably not as romantic as they make it in the movies. Welcome to Cooper Camp Creek Ranch. We have 18 sections or 11,000 acres here, and I guess big is all relative. We think that's pretty good size when you feel like we're stewards and not owners. Hoorah! Hoorah! Get up back! We'll show you how to throw a loop and do some heading and heeling called team rope.
I built this gallery not only to display the work of my other artist friends, my peers, but so the children, when they come through to the academy in the back, are exposed visually to very, very fine art in all the media, sculpture, bronzes, pastel, watercolor. But I never dreamed that there would be such a hunger for just feasting the eyes on fine art as there has been in this community.
Being outdoors and living outdoors, it's a little bit wild, but it's a freedom. I don't like being confined. I love to be outside.
Here's the cowboy to go. Leave the field, leave the line. Big stand, two. Well, that's one way to get out of there. Man's got a Amarillo. Here you go. Got it nice and started to play man sitting there, son. Well, we get him on the turn, walk it out. So that puts his up good. Come on, Brent, set there. You look good, son. Set right there. And the one on there. There's not much to lose on the time. There's not much to lose on the time.
For